Watching Kyle's unboxing videos again?
Yeah, he always finds the coolest... No way! A robot dog? Gotta ask where he got it.
Or use your Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Just draw a circle around the dog on your screen, and it shows you where to buy it right in the app.
Whoa, I just learned a new trick. And that for once, I beat Kyle to the next big thing.
Circle it, find it with the new Galaxy S24 Ultra and circle the search with Google. Get yours now at Samsung.com. Internet connection required. Results may vary based on visuals.
Hello and welcome to a very special bonus episode of It's Only a Game. Aren't you lot lucky just when you couldn't get enough of us? Sorry, I am slightly distracted by the fact that Matt and Dak are laughing on camera, but that's okay. We're ever professionals and we'll move on. So welcome back. We've got a special episode for you. It's a bit of news, a bit of quizzing. We don't really know, to be perfectly honest. It's just, we're here. It's going to be a good laugh. Gents, how are we doing first and foremost?
To be honest, after that little whisper in the intro, Jimmy, rather aroused. I won't lie to you, but apart from that, yeah,
aroused.
Life's ticking on.
Nice. That wasn't the intention, but I'll take it.
The thing that Matt whispered?
No, you whispered during your intro. You mightn't have even known you were doing it, Jimmy, but
right,
it was
especially
rather enjoyable.
sexual.
Bound to boost the listeners.
I was going to say, because Matt whispered something just as we hit record. Greg.
I'm good.
Greg,
yes,
how are
I'm
you?
just looking at the League Two scores right now. Carlisle are beating Hartlepool 2-1, which sort of helps us because we're only 2 points away from Hartlepool and we need them to lose. So I'm just keeping track of these scores. Yeah.
What insight, guys? What insight? I bet you're lucky with the start.
Quick question, Greg. Quick question, sorry. How many points are you off 22nd in the league? Are they Hartlepool?
2. We're 2 points away from Hartlepool. Hartlepool are 22nd.
And they're 22nd. Okay, so you're not absolutely doomed then, that's fine. Okay, so we've addressed that. Rochdale are not doomed. That's fine, only 2 points off.
Yeah.
It's all good. You're not going to go bust. It's okay.
We could
Stop fretting. I mean, you wouldn't want to live that life with that perpetual sort of doom-mongering, catastrophizing. Just go with the flow, and hey, if it's Dorking away next year, then just enjoy it.
You sound like you've been to Dorking away, Jim.
I'd happily go Dorking away.
I mean, just think of the food options. You generally find the lower down the league as you go, the better the food options get.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, I mean, if look, if Kidderminster come up from the National League,
they're the best. Who's been to Kidderminster? Have you been, Deck?
Yeah, I've been a couple of times.
They had their own chefs last time.
I remember vividly. Yeah. There was a few of the lads that I was with that spent the whole match just queuing up for pasties and pies. I don't think they actually watched any of the football. I think off the top of my head, Norwood scored an unreal goal that was flagged for offside. I can't quite remember now. And 2 of their fans got thrown out for absolutely nothing.
Fair dues.
So that was good away day all round.
Was it? Yeah. Sorry, go on, Jim. Was it? Was Jan Molby? Jan Molby, the Kidderminster manager at one point.
He was.
Yeah.
What, during that game, or just randomly?
No, not during that game. Like
time.
Years ago.
I was going to say he was dead.
When Kidderminster went. Yeah, Molby's not dead.
Oh, am I getting mixed up with? Sorry, Jan. Apologies if you listen. I am thinking Emlyn Hughes. Ignore me. Carry on. Greg, cut that out.
We apologise to both Emlyn Hughes and Jan Molby.
Apologies, Jan Molby.
I'm just going to Google
Jan
that
Molby
myself now.
There's some breaking news. Jan's not dead.
Yeah. Indeed.
You heard it here first.
You did, in fairness.
It's still January. So.
Wahey.
Wahey. Yeah, when Kidderminster in the.
Yeah, we just said that.
We know.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks for that, Greg.
Greg, we're not trying to kill him off. It's a bit.
For reference to the listeners, Greg's just FaceTimed him. He's very much alive.
Massive Rochdale fan.
He's in the middle of eating his tea,
Just
actually.
swiped him on Tinder.
Moving on.
So, 5 minutes in, we're discussing whether Jan Molby's alive or not. Kidderminster Harriers. And, as I told you, we have no structure to this podcast. And quite simply, Rochdale may or may not go down. Anyway, speaking of teams that are going to go down, Matt, anyone's feel free to jump in on this one. The inevitable's happened. We've sacked another manager. We're getting to Watford territory here in terms of just churning out managers. I don't really want to ask you any closed questions. Just kind of your thoughts. What happens next? Do we even care at this point?
I do, but I don't. There was an air of inevitability that it was going to happen at some point. I mean, you lose again. Was it the weekend to West Ham?
Well, the club didn't know for about 3-4
Well,
hours
that is
after it was
true.
announced on
Everyone
Sky
else
and
seems to
BBC.
know, and we didn't actually announce it until about 9:15 or something in the evening.
Fucking
When
shit.
by 5:00 everyone announced it. I feel for Frank. I do, and not in a football way, because I do think he was always a little bit out of his depth. I think I put on Twitter that when the goal they had was just to stay up, I think he knew what to do and he could get the fans on board, and it was like a rallying call. When the start of the season comes and that slate's clean and you've got to start from scratch, there has been some decisions. I mean, at the start of the season, we weren't terrible. Defense, we were pretty good, but the issue has always been we just don't score enough goals. And the second then you start leaking goals, as we have done, Brighton, Bournemouth, etc., those games, he probably should have really gone before the World Cup, if not after the Brighton game, in my eyes. I mean, the rumours of who we're bringing in are a mixture of hilarious to downright frightening. I do wonder at what point who we're going to bring someone in and the shortest they're going to last is. I do think if we bring someone like Marcelo Bielsa in, it's either going to be genius or he'll last 3 weeks and just leave because we're that bad.
He won't have time to buy his own bucket or rent his own room at the training ground.
Exactly.
As he did with Leeds. I think that'd be absolute vibes. I mean, it'd be horrendous. I don't know how the players would cope, but I think I'd be there. You know what? Let's just destroy the whole lot.
I mean, he seems to be the favourite, which, I mean, apparently he's going to cost us a lot of money, and you'd hope for that money he's going to be worth it. Maybe they got one eye on if they do get relegated that they've got someone who is proven in the Championship. I don't know. Other names, hilariously, Sam Allardyce has been mentioned again somehow. Doug Ferguson was mentioned, I saw the other day. Other names do escape me. Is it Gallardo, who's used to be Valencia?
River Plate manager.
River Plate manager, sorry, I'm getting mixed up with.
Gallardo, and then Marcelino was the former Villarreal.
Marcelino's what I get mixed up with. But yeah, there's a variety of names, which just goes to show that our shit show board haven't got a fucking clue who they want to put in charge at this point. There's no plan, there's no system in place. It's just a complete net, and let's see who actually is, at this point, is willing to take the job. That's my thoughts.
Stone Cold Sean Dyche is mentioned, so there we go.
Sean Dyche should be probably
the safest bet.
Yeah, I mean, who I think we're going to end up with, based on the current rumours, knowing Mashiri's way of doing this, it's probably going to be Bielsa. At this point, I don't think anyone we bring in is going to keep us up. I just think the team is that bad.
No.
You're looking at the story. I mean, we were supposed to sign Danjuma from Villarreal, who had apparently the medical was booked in, all done. He'd done everything else. And on the day he was supposed to come in to sign the contract, has now fucked off the Tottenham to go and sign for them. Which, if anything sums up Everton so far, it's been the fact that Spurs have not only bought our best player and barely played him, they're now buying the player we're supposed to replace Richarlison with, and then going to buy him on loan for the rest of the season, the player they don't need to then not play him as well. So yeah, it's going well otherwise. It's, yeah, that's my thoughts. There you go. Feel free to jump in, anyone.
Of course, Deku had your hand.
One thing's for sure, Wayne Rooney won't be taking the manager's job. He's apparently signed up as being one of Tyson Fury's sparring partners. As Fury said that he's got a very similar stance and style as Usyk. So I think Rooney's got his hands full.
Is Tyson okay?
I genuinely thought you were saying Wayne Rooney then was going to go to WrestleMania or something. I mean, that would be Dwayne Johnson against Wayne Rooney in the main event.
He has seen Wayne Rooney in recent months, hasn't he? And he has seen Usyk in recent months. The two are not that alike in my eyes, but there you go. Each their own.
They're both men, and that's about
men with
similarities and differences.
Facial hair and some capacity, and that's about it.
You're more likely to get a better stance out of Mickey Rooney at this rate, I think.
Well, we've all seen the wrestler, probably not.
Isn't that Mickey Rourke?
Decent film.
There we go.
It wasn't.
I don't really know where to go with Everton, to be honest.
To be honest with you,
so we've got two out of 3 of our clubs are failing. And Rovers are failing to do anything at all. They're just kind of stuttering along like a car on the last litre of fuel, trying to get to the petrol station in time.
You sound a lot like Everton last season.
We've known since September that we've needed a striker, and you would assume that they would have had somebody lined up at the start of the transfer window, and yet here we are, 24th of January even, and still no attackers signed, bar an unproven winger.
And one striker down, of course.
Yes. Mr. Nevitt has gone to Crewe.
Indeed.
Very strange goings
Very
on there
odd.
at Tranmere. Lots of outs and very few ins, which is concerning. But there you go. At least we're not, near the bottom yet. It could go that way. I don't think it will.
On the plus side, that is a good way to not get pregnant, isn't it? Really, lots of outs and very few wins. So I mean,
I'm just going to quickly just jump in, just back to Everton. So Mashiri has told the Everton Fan Advisory Board, who are in the name they are a Fan Advisory Board. He has faith in the current Everton board. Apparently, he's not shy to make changes when there is a need. We need calm and we need to go past our current position on the pitch. I hear what the fans say. They have points. We'll be addressing them. I'm committed to the club and not just the stadium to join the elite, but I need your help. The fans are the most important part of the Everton institution. Everton depends on Goodison and the 12th man. I'll do whatever it takes to get the fans on board. Thoughts, gentlemen? Jamie, mainly.
So that's reported from Farhad Mashiri, apparently. Okay, so we'll just clarify that they are the words of Farhad Mashiri.
That's from Twitter. Tony Scott on Twitter, who is a reputable journalist.
Okay, fair enough. So we know that's come from there. Okay, just that's quite quite a 180 turn from "it's not my decision."
I think that myself.
After the West Ham game, saying it's not a decision to sack Frank Lampard, and then whoever it was, him or if it was Alisher Usmanov, whoever it was, I you know what. I don't think Everton know where to go with that. Never mind Dak, never mind us. I don't think the actual board know where to go, and they are struggling now. So
I'm quite enjoying the fact that we're not playing this weekend. It's quite nice.
I think we leave it there with regards to us, because I think no one really knows what to do. I don't think the fans know. I don't think anyone knows. And hey, if it's Preston away next season, it's Preston away next season. That's fine by me, because I'm resigned to relegation. Go ahead, Greg, get your hand up.
I can one question on Everton, and we can move on if you want. If the possibility of David Moyes coming back was a reality,
that
would Jim?
No, we'd have to pay West Ham compensation to begin with.
No, but if they sacked him,
we haven't got any money.
They won't sack him. Not
you
not
not
that they gave him 3 points for the weekend. They won't.
No,
no point.
Just won a game. So.
How far are they down there? Because it's a complete.
They're ahead of us still, obviously.
I think ahead of us on.
They're like 16th. I want to say they're about 4 points ahead of us, something like that.
16th. Yeah.
Easy top three. Easy top three.
Oh, they are 16th. Okay.
There you go.
Easy top three.
Well, they're only 3 points above you, though.
Yeah,
that's the weird thing about all this. Sorry,
go on,
James.
It's literally a win.
About
if they hadn't won, if they hadn't won.
Yeah, but have you seen any Everton's performances the last few months?
Well, not a full 90 minutes for
if they
quite a while.
If they haven't won, a bit like saying if the world didn't turn, because
yeah,
I think no
matter how much you try, it's gonna happen.
I think you got to look at it as we all live in a dreamland that you're gonna have, and I think we all do. Especially you must go through this with Rockstar Grey this season. That you think, right, this is the day, this is the game. West Ham, big game, all right away from home. If they win this, might just be the start of the season. And then you go 2-0 down within about, was it what it was?
No. Forgive us, Matt. Can I just jump in slightly?
Go on.
We thought that with Bournemouth away. Then we thought that with Wolves at home. Then we thought that with Southampton at home. Then we thought that with West Ham away. All relegation rivals, quote unquote. And we've got 0 points.
Exactly.
And this is 7+ years of mismanagement from the very top. Mashiri, Kenwright, Baxendale, whoever. And I don't care if they do somehow listen to this. I don't think they will. This is 7+ years of mismanagement and poor spending. Because I've had people say, and particularly Liverpool fans have come and said, how can you protest against the board? You spent half a billion quid in 7 years and all this and the money. I was like, well, the fans don't spend the money. The fans don't, despite what Mashiri said on Talks, but the fans don't hire the managers and fire the managers. It's the board. They've been absolutely inept from the very beginning. And apart from the stadium, which even then has cost a lot more and been a lot more delayed than planned, but hey, that's something else. But I think we should move on because we could be here a long time and we've got other things and other things to do and lighter notes to discuss as well. So yeah, Greg, how are Rochdale doing?
Oh, good lord, lighter notes. We're absolutely dreadful at the minute. We're absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Teams that we should be competing against, we aren't. Which maybe when you and me were having that debate the other day, Jim, maybe you were right that Everton and Rochdale do draw parallels. and maybe they have been doing for a while in different leagues, and one's a bigger club, obviously, and we're not. But there are parallels. There are teams we should be beating Hartlepool. Well, we shouldn't be beating Hartlepool. We should be competing against Hartlepool, and the same with Colchester, because they've always been historically down there with us. I don't care what anybody says. They have been historical. I associate them with Hartlepool, definitely, with Rochdale ability. We should be competing against Hartlepool and Colchester. It's all going a bit sour, even though it's January. We haven't signed anybody this window. I mean, I'm sure other clubs haven't as well. So then I know Jim Bentley's come out and said he's tried to put bids in for players, but other players are assessing better options and things like that, which is fair enough, really, because if there's another team coming in for you, say Doncaster or whoever, you're going to probably look at another option apart from the team that are at the bottom of the league. Unless it's a big team that is somehow having a bit of a blip and they can get out of it.
Well, to be fair, Gillingham's money come in and they've transformed their owner. So, to be fair,
yeah,
you've not been trying to sign on at Jan Juma by any chance, have you, at Rochdale?
Not that I know of.
He'll be assessing his options. He'll be jibbing
looking elsewhere.
He'll be looking elsewhere, indeed.
Yeah, I was just typing to Deck about Gillingham just then, but Gillingham, you're quite right. They've appointed, I think, is it Kenny Jackett as director of football, and he's got, obviously, he knows the league. He's been the manager of Gillingham
as well.
That's the other one.
Yeah.
So I think I'll keep it quite short, but I think that Rochdale are missing a football head at the club. I think we need a director of football just to guide it somewhere. I mean, the board are all nice people. I'm not going to mention who they are, but I've met a few of them. They're all nice people. They've got the right intentions, unlike other owners or ex board of directors or whatever, things like that. They have got good intentions. Yeah, but there isn't a football head in there, like your example there, Jim, about Gillingham. They're somewhat plucking the points out a little bit. The one at the weekend, I can't remember who they were playing. But director of football seems to be a thing these days, doesn't it? In general football, that you hear a lot about it. I think David Flitcroft is director of football at Port Vale, I think. So you do hear of them, that are sort of not completely involved in picking the 11 and things like that, but just steering the ship a little bit. So that might be something that we might need to look into.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, it could be, but then it's whether the finances that are available and so on and so forth. It's a challenge at that bottom end, as Dak well knows what it's like at the bottom League Two. It's pretty grim, pretty grisly. Just to quickly touch on, there's not really much going on with Tranmere at the moment, I wouldn't have thought. But you've not signed strikers, you've not really signed anyone apart from this guy from Port Vale. Anything really to say? I mean, Matt and I went to the Walsall game with you the other week, and it was a bit dull, apart from Manny Monte getting sent off, which was quite funny. But quick thoughts on Rovers before we move on?
It's, apart from people not being able to sit in the seats, the place is just stagnant at the minute, to be honest.
That's because Rovers are so packed every week that we couldn't possibly sit in our seats.
Yeah.
16,000
people wanting to sit by me,
isn't it? To the rafters.
That's what it is. No, but just to go back to your earlier point, Jimmy, it's just in a way the club at the minute for me stinks of how we were the season that we went down. That's not going to happen, I don't think, in terms of, I think we've got enough quality to see us through. Lots of draws, the occasional win and so on. But just that whole, I don't feel like the fans now are fully supportive of what's going on. The kind of, I don't know, the direction that the club has taken is one that seems very strange. So they went down the whole James Vaughan route at the start of the season. We recruit young players, we bring them through, we sell them for profit and so on, which in a way is kind of happening. The likes of Ross Doohan's done out, Elliot Nevitt's done out, both for fees. There's still strong links to Cogley and Bristow going out. So in a way that's working, but at a club of our size and our level, if you're then bringing young players in to sell them every 6 months, you're rebuilding your whole squad, aren't you? Every transfer window. So if you've got that solid spine, which I think we had over those successful sort of 3 or 4 seasons, your Scott Davises, Steve McNulty's, Norwoods, Jennings, etc., you can afford to have kind of young players come in. And I was saying to you the other day, it's about you can take a gamble on maybe 3 or 4 players in a season. If one of them comes good and you sell them on for a profit, great, you're up. But what we can't do is what we seem to have done and just gone out and bought or signed anyone who's kind of been released from a Premiership academy or anyone who's got some kind of pedigree and is under the age of 22 or 23 seems to have been the recruitment tactic. We've got very, very little experience in the squad. That has been added to a little bit, but they just kind of look lost. And a lot of what Mellon is saying in his post-match conferences, I kind of, as the weeks have gone on, I kind of sympathise a little bit more with him. He is in a very difficult position at the minute. Results aren't going his way. There's been managers sacked for better runs than we've been on at the minute, and in recent years as well. But then you've also got to look at financially, is he being backed? Probably not as much as what people think he's being backed. He's been streaming out for months and months for players, and yet they're talking now that there's 5 or 6 strikers that have been approached over the last couple of months who have all then turned us down or things have fallen through. So there's obviously an issue there with the recruitment side of things. James Vaughan went as soon as all the young players were signed and went back to Everton. Fair play to him.
What about that?
But they're just
he's the next manager.
There's just
Wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, probably. There's just no direction, and I was saying to Jimmy and Matt there walking up to the Walsall game on Saturday. I normally live for the match of a Saturday, and at the minute it's just kind of check my phone on a Thursday. Or we're at home Saturday. Right, I'll go because it's prepaid. I've paid for it already. There's no kind of enthusiasm or anything, and even when I'm there, it's just flat. The atmosphere at Prenton Park, even 2 years ago, well, obviously not during COVID, but either side of COVID was bouncing, and it's now like you've walked into a church, and not one that's singing Hosanna and singing from the valleys and all
Maybe
that.
that's your issue.
A very quiet church.
Maybe it needs to be choir services before the game. That's a shout.
Bread and wine. Yeah. Get some bread. Yeah. Get some wine.
Get Rover in his keep a bit more. Get him, lead
get
him
Rover a clergy outfit.
Not cocking his leg on the goalpost.
Well, you know what?
Earn his keep.
Entertainment at half time.
That's true. The Icelandic guys were great fun last week.
Yeah,
they were. Shout out to the Icelandic.
So for those who don't know. Yeah, we'll try and find, if I can find those on socials, we'll try and tag them into this. There was a group of about 10, 12 Icelandic fans came over, so we've got a bit of a following.
The Peaky Whites weren't they? Because they were dressed as Peaky Blinders from Iceland.
Peaky Blinders, yeah, with all of the flat caps and stuff.
They were great.
But they were probably more entertaining than the football, and I'd have them back.
Yeah, so I think...
So that's where we're up to. Half a plane full of people from Iceland coming over in flat caps, more entertaining than... the League Two, in inverted commas, football that we're showcasing at the minute. I'm not going to say any more because I'm just going to go down a rabbit hole.
Indeed. Well,
handing
we're going to go from League Two right up to the very top of the Premier League. Very, very briefly. I feel like we'd be remiss for us to not address arguably the best team in the land at the moment. They've had a great week. 6 points against Tottenham and Man United. 2 big results, obviously, for Arsenal. What do we make? Are they going to do this? I know it's January. I know City and Man City, and they've got legs. Don't get me wrong. But Arsenal just look quite assured. They look calm, don't they? It's not like the frantic sort of Wenger banter era of old. It's going back to almost like the Invincible era's Arsenal. Not quite as good, but do we think they're going to do it? I mean, there's, like I say, a long way to go yet.
Well, it's something that Gary Neville said. I was watching this morning on YouTube. And he said that City know how to win titles, and it's sort of the path of how to win a title. And that obviously was sort of mentioning that Arsenal in recent times don't know how to do that, and that City have been behind before and they can still win it. But this sort of seems like a different type of Arsenal at the minute. What are they, 5 or 6 points clear? It's quite an unpredictable Premier League season, really, because I don't think a lot of people would have had Liverpool, Chelsea that far down the league. So maybe that's something there as well. But nobody would have predicted Arsenal at the top, going into the end of January, like comfortably as well. They're still in. They can, yeah. I think they are title, contenders, despite City, know how to win the title, as Gary Neville has said before, but I don't know what everybody else thinks. They are quite comfortable looking.
I've still got City winning it. 2 reasons I'll go for. One, City have still got to play Arsenal twice. If Arsenal come through that unscathed, i.e., dropping, maybe a draw out of each game or losing one, drawing the other, then I think that's really setting them up. Also, City have got a habit of just putting together results towards the last 15 games of the season where they'll just go unbeaten. They've done it, with Liverpool in recent years past. They've got Haaland on 25 goals this season, which is bizarre. And I think that Spurs game for them, I think, was a turning point when Pep came out and had a go at them and was basically talking about do they want it enough. And I think the dressing room that they've got, I think that's what will spur them on. I just think with Arsenal, it's all gone a bit too well so far. And that sounds daft, but I think they will come up against teams, or they'll have games where things don't always quite go enough for them. 50 points after what they are 19 games is a hell of a record. Fair play to them. And big props to Mikel Arteta for the job he's done this season. But there's a long way to go, and I do think City will still win it. Arsenal will definitely finish top 3 minimum. And even for them is an incredible season. I think top 2. I think Gary Neville had United finishing second, which is, for lack of a better word, hilarious. But yeah, I still think City are going to win it at the moment, just because, and he's right, they do know how to win a league title, and Arsenal at the moment don't. But who knows?
Just going to flip what you've said there, Matt, in that Arsenal have still got to play City twice. City have still got to play Arsenal twice.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely agree.
And Arsenal are 5 points clear with the game in hand. And you say it's all gone too well. They've got Gabriel Jesus out, placed with Eddie Nketiah, who's literally their only other centre forward, and still getting results. I'm not suggesting Arsenal will win it. I just think people are quick to sort of write off this Arsenal side from keeping the momentum. There's nothing to suggest they can't. Bear in mind they've only lost one game this season. They've only dropped points in 3 of the 19 games. And some of the 2 draws were down to sort of shoddy decisions. Southampton and another game which escapes me, for Newcastle at home. They've already beaten United, who they lost to at Old Trafford. So I mean, I don't know. I think that people aren't willing to give Arteta necessarily the credit, and some of those players the credit that they genuinely do deserve. I think Trossard, even, I know we've had Joe on who will have his views about Trossard and the way he's left, but I think he's a solid addition. I just think they've got a team. It's a bit like the Liverpool side that went on a massive run in the league in the COVID year, the middle of the COVID season, that they just look absolutely imperious and just sailing through. But I do take your point that it's the title race, and any title race at any level, anything can happen still.
Yeah, by no means I'm not discrediting what Arsenal have done so far. It sounds like I'm not. They've been, best team in the league by an absolute mile. I just think, like, when I say it's gone too well, I mean as in the hiccups they've had. United, they were unlucky, and the 2 games they've drawn great, but there's a lot tougher tests to come. I think they've still got to go to Anfield. They've still got to go to obviously City's the other one. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one because, like I said, with the gap they've got so far, you would still back them, But things, as we've seen, can change pretty quickly, and I think if those 2 games against City, I think fall quite quickly within one another because the original game was postponed. I think because of the Queen's funeral. I can't remember exactly, but it was something along those lines. But I think having those 2 games so close together, it's whether they can handle the pressure of those 2 big games. Because let's say if they lost at City, earlier on in the season, well, okay, you've 1 game's gone, but to have 2 basically almost like big 6-pointers in the space of a couple of weeks, you do, in my head, I do feel City are better set up for those games, and the strength and depth they got is a big difference in it as well. I don't think Arsenal have that yet, albeit the players have signed Trossard, the big one, obviously. But you look at City, Mahrez is playing out of his skin at the moment. He's technically not their starter most weeks, or if he is, it's between him and Silva, Grealish, Foden, etc. So yeah, it's a tough one to call, but I still back City to win it for me personally.
Just a quick one in terms of how Arsenal's fixtures look. So in the last 6 games that they have, they play City away, Chelsea at home, and Newcastle away, which might be tricky in the sort of final weeks of the Premier League. Those three could be tricky. You never know. Newcastle are on a good run at the moment. Well, up there, aren't they? At least Chelsea could spark a bit of a comeback. So they have got difficult games at the back end of the sort of the business end, if you will. So, yeah.
Yeah, but those are the games that you do what you need to do, and if you're going to be champions at the end of the day, and I think Arsenal will know that. As much as anyone, even though they've not won the league since 2004, they'll know that those are the kind of fixtures that you can't be phased by that. You can't see that as something to be afraid of. You've got to go and just do what you need to do and play your game as they have done, play the way that they've played, the entire season, and let other teams worry about them. I don't see, I don't see why they should change for anyone the way they've done at the moment. Speaking of Newcastle, I think people were always saying, is it Arsenal or City for the title? No one's mentioning Newcastle. They win a trophy this year. League Cup semi-final action tonight. Are they in the Premier League? No. Under Eddie Howe with... I mean, it's a hell of a... I know that you can talk about the ownership, but it's a hell of a rise from where they were last year with not that much relatively spent.
You'd have to say for them, anything European football is a hell of a season. If they can get in the Champions League, absolutely fair play to Eddie Howe. But if you ask any Newcastle fan at the start of the season, if let's say they got top 7, they would have absolutely bitten your hand off of that. And then just the chance to push that team on in the summer with the investment they've got. You do feel, I mean, I don't know who they're going to bring in. The main thing they've done is they've been quite smart. They've been the opposite of Everton. They've got all this money in, but haven't spaffed it on players who don't deserve to be at that club or been on that money. Whereas Newcastle have done the complete opposite. They've bought smartly. They've bought the right players in the right positions. And yeah, Eddie Howe is doing a phenomenal job. Absolutely.
I think there was something, I'll just keep this brief, but there was something about on the price of football. I don't know if anybody listens to that. Kerry Maguire was saying that they seem to think Mike Ashley might have undersold Newcastle somewhat just because of how well they're doing at the moment and how well it could all pan out, in terms of what money you would have got for that and things like that, but I don't know if that's, I don't know, because that's not the end of the season, is it yet? Oh, sorry, Matt, on my phone it says 1-0 Newcastle.
It's that time zone difference.
Uh-huh. That's weird. Unless they've had a goal disallowed. Sorry, yeah.
Or has it been disallowed? I think
it might have been a goal. It definitely went 1-0 up on my phone. Sorry, yeah. So there's a few people thinking that Ashley has undersold it, but there's no way of knowing that, is there, in 8 months later, that Newcastle are going to be 3rd or 4th in the league, really. But it's one of them. They've done well, haven't they, with the recruitment so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a final point on that for myself is I'd quite like to say, I know it's an unpopular opinion amongst Everton fans, there seems to be a Twitter beef between Everton and Newcastle supporters. I'd quite like to see Champions League nights back at St James's Park. Bit of nostalgia, bit of, childhood kind of vibes. Quite nice. I quite enjoyed them when they had their days against Barcelona and Feyenoord in the Champions League. So, yeah, absolutely think I actually genuinely wish them all the best because they're succeeding where my club, Matt's club, have drastically and horrendously failed. We are going to move on to some Twitter questions now, so thank you for those people who have submitted them. We always will wish any questions on any of the social medias, of course, on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We have 2 questions I think Greg's suggesting there, or he's suggesting the victory sign. I think he's either channeling his inner Churchill or he's signaling 2 questions. I'm guessing it's the latter. So, 2. Greg, do you want to go through Twitter questions for now?
Okay,
cool.
So we've got one question from Late Night Irish League Show that seems to follow us on Twitter. So hello, Late Night Irish League Show. The question is, who hosts the best space on Twitter? I don't really do Twitter space, but does anybody do Twitter space?
Anyone?
Let's do it for the Everton ones. It's quite funny. I wonder if they're asking if that's a question where they're referencing that it might be themselves that host the best space on Twitter.
I'm going to say, surely it's the Late Night Irish League Show that hosts the best space on Twitter.
Getting the feeling that might have been the intent with that question.
I'd have said that. Yeah, I'd have said that.
I feel like that's, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, second question.
Yeah, so last question.
Last question. It's Danny Ingham, Rochdale fan who we've had on from the Men in Blue days. So Danny's question is Is there any way Everton and Rochdale can stop themselves being relegated? Rumours of Frank's sacking yesterday. Do you think this is a good decision? Well, we've covered a little bit about that one, but also, do you think Dale should do similar with Jim Bentley? I don't think we should sack Jim Bentley just yet. I think it's the tools more than him. He's only been able to
call
sign
the players.
They're tools. He's only been able to sign 2 players, and we've only had him a couple of months. I don't think we should be going sacking crazy because 1, we probably can't afford it, and 2, I think he's all right. Actually, I think if we do go down, we're probably better off keeping Bentley. I'd keep him. I'm not sure about anything on the Everton front in terms of that question. Do you think it was the right decision to sack Lampard?
I think we've discussed it, really. The record speaks for itself. Shame, likeable guy, as we've said. Not usually got sympathy for managers to get sacked, but in this case I do, because it's not all his fault, and I think we've kind of covered that, really.
Go on, Deck.
In quite some detail, so yeah.
Yeah, no, you're dead right in terms of it not entirely being his fault, but there was an interesting thing on Twitter earlier on that I saw, and I think I've possibly mentioned it on this before. Both Lampard and Gerrard, both world-class players, but neither have taken off in the way that people would say they should have done, in inverted commas, should have done in their managerial career. Arguably, Gerrard, yeah, he had a good spell at Rangers, but Celtic weren't doing particularly well at the time. And for that level, the budget and so on, he should be getting top 2 minimum anyway. I know obviously there was a bit of a turnaround and stuff there with him, but anyone with a little bit of football and now should be doing well with Rangers. And then obviously he went to Villa, and hand on heart, I think he's gone to the Prem too quickly. I think he would have been better off going to maybe a Watford or a high championship club where he had the chance to get them promoted with a good budget at that level behind them. And then obviously, Lampard, similar really, isn't he? I feel like it was, I don't know, not an appointment out of the blue for Everton, but maybe wasn't the best option that they had at the time. But like you've said, I mean, you could have had anyone in there, and I think with the bunch of players that they've got and the direction of the club at the minute, it would take one hell of a leader to kind of change that. But I know that's probably not what he was asking on Twitter.
Big Sam.
I'll throw me 2 pence in.
Big Sam.
Well, I'm going to put it out on our Twitter. It's only a game. I'm going to put a question for our listeners. Is there a correlation between world-class playing career and managerial ability? And please respond, and we will pick that up on the next episode or whenever we can be asked, which maybe never.
Professionalism.
Thank you anyway. Professionalism.
That will just vanish into the abyss that is Twitter. But if you want to waste your time, do feel free to engage with that.
Because otherwise,
all about them lights.
We're getting lots of Fulham and Oldham players today, including lots of Bobby Decordova-Reid. So
there is one. There is one that hasn't been mentioned.
Glorious.
There is one for Fulham and Oldham that hasn't been mentioned. Stephen Humphreys.
Oh, of course.
As in Hearts and Wigan fame.
Yes. Is he still at?
Did he play for Rochdale?
He's at Hearts.
He did. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he played for Rochdale, didn't he?
Did he really? Get out of town. I said last night, I reckon I can make up names, and I believe you if they play for Rochdale. That's a game. Got it. Right. Next episode, Greg. Make up names, but throw in a real one, and we've got to guess the player who played. I'll do it on my own.
Brilliant.
It's like a really shit version of Would I Lie to You? He's got to pick 3 players and tell us a little bit about it.
You've got to give me backstories, you've got to give me stats, games played.
I'm being funny, guys.
There's next month's bonus episode,
I'm not being funny, guys. You've kind of shot on my game idea that I've got for tonight, but there we go. That's fine.
Oh, well.
Ever so slightly, but no.
Roll on, Jimmy.
No, it's fine. No, it's not the same, but yeah, it's we could have a game of Rochdale or Rochfake, yeah, at some point, yeah.
Nice.
Or whatever you want to call it.
Rochdale or Rochbale.
Yeah,
bound to play for them. Yeah. On to the quiz time, whatever form of the quiz. Gregory, James, Robert Ingham, go ahead. I've just full name. Sorry.
5 questions. I have 3.
Anyway, right.
They're all Champions League based 15. Because it's quite difficult to find a top 5 of anything that I haven't done already. The first question is, per team in the history of the Champions League, which teams have had the most red cards in the history of the Champions League? So you could say, if Port Vale were in there, who you know where I'm coming from, don't you? So you need to name
If
a club.
Port Vale were in there. Oh yeah, I forgot about Port Vale's famous Champions League runs.
In 95, you don't remember
Of
that?
course I did, yeah.
That runs the semi-finals.
Well, about them.
Oh, yeah.
Famous season.
Royal Antwerp in the quarterfinals, yeah.
They lost in the quarterfinals because every player got red carded in the first leg.
Of course.
That's why they're fifth on the list.
Forfeit the second leg.
Of course
That's
they are.
Yeah. Ian Bogey,
Okay.
kicking an Antwerp player. Anyway, right.
Most red cards in the history of the Champions League.
Who wants to go first?
13.
I've got an answer.
Well, I've got an answer mainly. I'd probably say Matt's got. I'm gonna go purely for this one because Sergio Ramos probably qualifies on his own. So I'm gonna go for Real Madrid.
They've also got Pepe
as well.
Pepe's got at least 400.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but Sergio Ramos tops the list on his own.
Ramos
so
is absolute top shithouser.
Could have done it per player, couldn't they? Right, so Jim, are you having...
Real Madrid.
You're having Real. Rightio. Who's next?
Right, who are proper dirty bastards?
Juve. I'll have Juventus.
Juventus.
On and off the pitch.
Can their board just stop being wrong-uns for one season?
Yeah, what are they doing?
Word. The Agnellis are just so daft. Anyway, go on, carry on.
Who's proper dirty?
Don't ask your old school friend that.
Are you asking for volunteers there?
I can be if you want me to be. I'm going to have purely again. Fuck knows. Man United. Mainly because I got Roy Keane. I don't think I'd have that better record in the Champions League for getting red cards.
And Rooney.
I was just going to say.
And Paul Scholes.
I'm just jotting these answers down. Most red cards. Answers. The most red cards in the history of the Champions League is Juventus with 1 point to Deck, I think, there. They've had 28 yellow cards. Red cards.
Perfect sense.
If you ever need a Champions League team's stats based on red cards, I'm your man. Don't know a lot about football. Champions League red cards. I know it's Juventus. Market. It's very niche. I think I should start a Twitter account.
1 tweet per day of the same answer.
Can you follow us? We need the followers.
Joint second place is Porto and Real Madrid.
I thought you said Port Vale.
24. Port Vale, yeah. Porto and Real Madrid. 24 red cards.
Porto had Pepe as well. That's why it makes sense.
Yeah, actually.
Wherever Pepe goes.
Jimmy's got 2 points there.
So.
Joint third, is Inter and Bayern Munich on 23.
I forgot about the Italians.
And fifth is Arsenal, 20 red cards.
Arsenal, Vieira, innit?
Yeah.
Keown.
Most likely.
Pascal Segon.
Yeah, Segon probably got... Philip Senderos got about 20 on his own, I think.
Stefanos Tavlaridis. I don't even know if he played for him.
Franny Jeff has probably got one as well.
He probably did.
He never played.
So Jimmy wins with 2 points. Deck's got 1 point. We roll on to the next question.
Have we said he was fifth?
Yeah, hang on. He was fourth.
Yeah, hang on. Didn't we have joint? Yeah, he was fourth then.
One, two.
We've only had four.
Dynamo Kiev. Sorry, fifth. Dynamo Kiev are fifth.
Probably could name Dynamo Kiev.
Well, I'll sleep tonight, lads.
You'll be all right there. You'll be all right now, Deck.
Thank you.
There's my next 5 tweets sorted anyway.
There you go. Deck starting a Dynamo Kiev fan account.
So, next question sort of follows on from the theme of last recording even. Most appearances by a French player in the Champions League, 1 to 5. Most appearances by a French player, obviously.
Right. Also,
fives.
When you say Champions League, are you including European Cup in that as well, or just the Champions League from whatever
it
year
says
changed, 1990?
European Champions Cup / Champions League, including qualification.
Oh, bloody hell! Right, okay.
We know. I know all of them, so. And the
French players.
Yes, top 5 appearances.
Can I go
As
first?
opposed to fringe players.
Yeah, go for it, Matt. You go.
This is like last time I did this and I went balls to the wall. This is kind of what we're going again for. I'm going to go Patrice Evra, and I don't know why, because he's a funny guy on Twitter.
Monaco.
Interesting.
What's
interesting?
West Ham.
Right.
Actually.
Who's next?
That West Ham v Port Vale Champions League final. Do you remember?
What a final that was! What a final!
How could you think?
What a time to be alive! What a time to be alive!
Live long in the memory.
Jim and Deck. Who are we going for?
That's not my answer.
Go on, Jimmy, you go.
I can't think at the moment. There's so many obvious answers, and yet I don't know. There's one player I can think of who I know has played a lot of Champions League games, but he may have also played a lot of UEFA Cup games prior to that with his previous club. Because it was in an era when only 1 or 2 clubs made the Champions League.
I'm going to have to rush you. I feel like Chris Tarrant. I'm going to have to rush you.
Yeah, alright, okay. Fair enough, I got you. Right, I'm going to go a bit out there.
Phone a friend,
Phone a
Jimmy.
I'm going to go a bit out there. Bizente Lizarazu.
Rightio,
I'm going to go very obvious, or at least I hope very obvious. Benzema.
Okie dokie.
Was it Leon he was at before Real?
That's going to be the hard answer, actually.
Yeah.
Most appearances by a French player in the Champions League qualifications or European Champions Cup. Number 1, Karim Benzema has made the most appearances. 146 appearances. That's 1 point to Deck.
That's me, lads. I'm
safe options twice.
You've gone for the safe option.
Follow Deck's Champions League podcast.
Pussy.
He's got just him
There
talking
you go.
Champions League stats. Going for the
Second
pussy
place, Thierry Henry. 115 games for Monaco, Arsenal, and Barcelona. So that would have been 2 points.
Barcelona.
Third place with 111 appearances for Monaco, Juventus, and Man United is Patrice Evra for Matt. Matt's got 3 points.
Yeah, fuck you, Deck. Safe options.
Fourth place is 96 appearances for Real Madrid and Chelsea. That's Claude Makelele.
Oh, what
And
a player.
Yeah, absolutely.
How'd I forget him?
And fifth, 89.
Once played for
Port
Rochdale.
89 appearances is Frank Ribery. So that would have been your 5 points, Frank Ribery.
So,
Well,
can we just do a quick
glad
scores on the
won that
doors?
round.
Great.
Matt's won. Matt has won that round.
So
Matt's got 3 points with Patrice Evra. Jimmy has got no points with Lizarazu. And
Got 2 in the last round.
1 point with Benzema.
So, in total, who's got out of the 2 rounds so far? Who's winning? Can I ask?
Matt's winning. Matt's winning.
Just
Yeah. Hang on.
2 in a row, guys. At this
Yes.
point.
Yeah.
Well,
Matt
I
is
sorted
winning.
out.
Yeah. And, well, it's a
Balls to
tie
the wall.
between Jimmy and Deck after that.
Sorry, lads. I've just remembered it's the most obscure answer,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, moron.
You've done well here, mate. You've done
Just
well.
done the Kamara, haven't you?
Is me thinking I've done really well.
You're going,
Oh,
what? These
man.
are all weird answers. Why
Christ,
did he go
Fucking
with the
hell,
obvious
idiots we
ones?
play
Like,
that. Which
Right,
is ever.
so- Final question of the 5 rounds. So, in the history of the Champions League, who has the most defeats to their name? So, obviously...
Bale.
Right, Jimmy's going for both. No, I'm joking. The most defeats in the history of the Champions League, 1 to 5. So obviously,
including group stages.
you could
Or
look at it
players.
both ways. You could look at it as well. I'm not gonna give any clues.
Most defeats.
Most
You want
defeats.
teams that have been knocked out in like the
Right.
quarterfinals,
Okay.
Yes,
or a lot in
or
the
got
group
to the
stages.
final, possibly,
Ooh.
or they just sneak a qualification and get battered every year.
I'm gonna go. Oh, I don't like this, but I'm gonna go for it. Dynamo Zagreb.
Ooh.
Right,
It's not
so
a bad
Jimmy's
answer.
going for Dynamo Zagreb. Okay.
I'm going to go with the sneak qualification and then get battered most years. Celtic.
I was thinking Celtic, but
They did get knocked out in 3 European competitions in 1 season. That was quite impressive.
did they really? That's
It's
impressive.
almost ever.
How does that even happen?
Oh, Champions League and Europa, and
Champions
then
League,
it's,
and
Oh.
Europa League and Conference League, and they got out of the Champions League twice 1 year because the other team got done for something as well. Good times.
That's quite funny.
Crikey.
So
Okay.
technically, that's a good idea.
I'm going to go Valencia. And again, bit of balls to the wall. No idea why. Probably wrong, but let's wait and see.
Interesting. Right, okay, so the most defeats in the history of the Champions League, with 109, is Real Madrid. Second place is Dynamo Kiev.
Oh,
You were half right, Jimmy, but I can't give you half points. I'm sorry.
Oh,
not in this,
So
not in
they've
this
had the
quiz, pal.
second
Not in this
most
quiz.
defeats.
Very Dynamo
They've
Kiev
had
heavy, these
95
quizzes.
defeats. Third place, Benfica, with 90 defeats.
Benfica are a shout. How about Benfica?
Joint fourth are Porto and Anderlecht with 86 defeats between them. And the fifth one, 84 defeats, Olympiacos.
Olympiacos are the perfect fodder.
Oh, of course.
So I don't know.
Of course, they win the league
We
every
did
season.
well on that round, didn't we, lads?
Quite well.
That's
I
like
don't
watching
think
them in that.
anybody. I don't think anybody got any on that particular round.
That was too hard, Greg.
So
Oh well.
That was too hard. That
the overall winner
it wasn't fair.
is Matt. Overall winner.
Guys, two in a row. What's going on? Jimmy in particular. Deck, I'll let off. Jimmy, come on, pal.
I'm going for two obscure answers though.
Rayman over here
too good.
football knowledge.
Greg, you do know that I play off a handicap.
What is that handicap being a Tranmere fan?
Fucking idiot.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah. Along with many other
Right,
issues.
just wear glasses.
But that is the main one.
Just because you've got headphones on.
Do we fancy a quick all one out before we go?
These aren't even plugged in, they're just for effect.
Okay, I'll hand it over to Jim.
Do we fancy a quick odd one out before we go? I've got a few of these. We'll just do one because we are short of time.
Go on,
I'm going to give each of you a chance to guess this, by the way. Basically, this odd one out takes us to the Botswanan League.
Of course it does.
Because of course it does. And I'm going to give you three team names. Okay? And you basically got to work out which one's the fake one. So 3 team names. And you each can have a go, and you can have a little guess. You can agree with each other, whatever, and basically work out which one you think the fake team name is, okay? Does that make sense? So the first team name is Botswana Meat Commission. Botswana Meat Commission.
Meat Spin Commission. Meat Commission. Right, okay.
Second one. Meat. Yeah, okay. So Botswana Meat Commission. The second one, Setswana Accountancy College. Setswana Accountancy College.
Can I just
and
say,
the final one.
That
What, are you thinking of an acronym for like something dodgy?
No, it sounds like a university challenge name, like a team.
Okay, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And the third one.
What's the third one? Big
Elephant. Third one is. Nope. Although, nope. Maybe not. Probably definitely not in Botswana.
That's a good point. Good point.
The third one is miscellaneous.
Oh, that's a red herring. Fucking hell.
So we've got Botswana Meat Commission, Setswana Accountancy College, or miscellaneous. Which one's the fake one out of those 3? Do you reckon in the Botswanan League?
Right.
See that? Okay, let's go with it. The obvious answer is miscellaneous, but knowing you, that makes it less obvious. So right, I'm trying to go into your head now. Okay.
Right, two are genuine team names. One's fake.
One fake.
I'll repeat them again.
Go on.
Botswana Meat Commission, Setswana Accountancy College, or miscellaneous. Which one's the fake one? 2 of those are genuine team names in Botswana.
I'm going to go for the Botswana one. Botswana.
So you think Botswana Meat Commission?
Meat Commission. That one.
Meat Academy.
The decommissioned Meat Commission.
Meat Academy 4.
Can we just point out nobody should never Google Meat Academy?
Google Meat Academy.
No, computer.
Christ knows what will come up Meat Academy.
No chance.
Botswana. So you're thinking Botswana Meat Commission's a fake team, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the second one. That I think.
So you think the Accountancy College one's a fake one? Setswana Accountancy College.
Oh, I don't know. It does sound like a university challenge name.
I'm
going to stick with my guns. I think the second one is false. I think.
Okay, so you think Setswana Accountancy College is fake, okay?
Yes.
And Dax with us or not with us? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, he's back. So, just for heads up, we've got Botswana Meat Commission Matt thinks fake, Setswana Accountancy College that Greg thinks fake. Which one do you reckon?
Can you repeat the third one?
Of course, the third one is miscellaneous.
I'm going to say Meat Commission.
You think Botswana Meat Commission as well, okay?
Yeah, they get on well with Forestry.
Meat Academy.
it's the biggest rivalry going. Well, I can tell you that in fact,
friendly.
Greg, you've won this round. The fake one is Setswana Accountancy College.
Right.
There is a Botswana Accountancy College in Botswana. It's not a football team, and Setswana is the language one of the tribes speak in Botswana. The other 2, Botswana Meat Commission and miscellaneous, are genuine Botswanan football
miscellaneous. Where the hell did miscellaneous come from?
There's a lot gone into that, isn't there, Jimmy? There's a few brain cells been spent on that.
So is the idea that is the miscellaneous team just take the other ones from other teams and just create their own team?
just basically just any other players, just randomly ragtag wanderers, just kind of.
It sounds like a default setting on Pro Evo or something. I don't know.
Miscellaneous, like the
miscellaneous 11.
There is genuinely miscellaneous FC, yeah, genuinely, yeah. So
There you go.
I mean, I've got a few more
like
days,
that.
but we won't have time for tonight. I could come up with all kinds of mad countries and do stuff like that. We could do one each episode if you want.
I'm a big fan of that question, Jim. Really big fan.
I could do it with headlines as well. You know, come up with some mad headlines or whatever, or in football world.
Do that
you could go anywhere with that. So yeah, odd one out. Type stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing potential Everton managers next week.
Yeah, just make names up.
Let's face it.
If Botswana Meat Commission starts managing Everton, then they're gonna buy Everton next week.
Miscellaneous might end up Everton.
Miscellaneous
or a meat commission, do you think?
And they've bought a Botswana Accountancy College. Academy. So yeah, Meat Academy. So tune in next week for the big grudge match between Forest Green Rovers and Meat Academy. That's a bit of a derby.
Is it bad that I really want to see that?
Bound to be a juicy fixture.
Absolutely.
Indeed. There's lots at stake.
Hey,
there is. Might come a bit close to the bone.
Whoa.
I had one of them's in for a good hiding. I'll stop there.
Oh, I like that. I like it.
There's definitely a grilling joke in there somewhere as well.
No, we've overcooked this joke now.
Hey.
A few of the goals will be described as absolute bangers.
Whoever wins, they'll be told, well done.
Hey.
On that note, guys, I'm going to sign off for that night.
Right then. Well,
I think on that note,
whether you are indeed a meat eater or vegan, we wish you all the very best.
Apologies if we've offended anyone there.
We've offended everyone.
They're not happy eating, folks.
We apologise to vegans, Forest Green Rovers Football Club, the entire nation of Botswana. We just apologise to all of you. If you've got this far, well done. Because we haven't got this far in spirit. You know, you're a trooper.
This was supposed to be half an hour. We're here 59 minutes later, and we're still going somehow. So
yeah, because we spoke about Kidderminster Harry as well.
Well done us. And Port Vale's famous Champions League run.
Port Vale's famous Champions League run.
So there's 2 bonus episodes sorted.
Absolutely.
Sound?
Absolutely.
And loads of commission on the new adverts. Enjoy those, listeners.
Indeed, yeah, because of course we are now
Surely FM, where the listener comes first. There's the first one.
There's a ton of alcoholic ads in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed. Well,
we
of course we must mention it's only a game.
And after all of that last chat, probably loads of Quorn adverts as well. Quorn, by the way, I said, listeners.
Quorn, not Quorn.
Yeah, you've got to be careful what you say around here.
No.
It's only a game is part of the Sports Social Network for now, until they kick us off. So we must give them a shout out. So thank you very much for their support and for letting us onto your podcast platform. Please listen to us at any podcast platform that you have, whether it be Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Please follow us on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Lads, are we getting a TikTok? OnlyFans?
I want to get one for the TikTok dances, mainly.
Oh, but we do have a YouTube account, apparently, now.
Oh,
that Jack has kindly set up.
We're working on that.
Yes, we're going to get going on that. So do feel free to follow any of us on any of those platforms, but just don't follow us around the streets. That
might have been an idea to record this as video as well, which I forgot to do. So it's going to be an audio over the YouTube channel. Well, it's not a problem.
We can do other things on YouTube.
Enjoy the blank screen, viewers.
We'll just get a screenshot of all of us.
Great visual content coming your way.
Although I'm now thinking of creating a sort of another podcast called The Meat Academy. Don't know what it's going to be yet. Yeah, right, sausages. And by that I mean
it's just an ASMR account of sausages sizzling. It's just like...
Lads, if we keep going for another 2 minutes, we could get another advert in it.
Shot, you know.
And then we can all retire.
That's it.
Why do you think
we're just loads of background noise for a few minutes, gents?
Of sausages sizzling.
Pepperoni advert.
Yeah, I do love a good potato waffle, but that's going back a few episodes. New year, go back to the Calm Down With Me episode. Absolute belter.
We're proud of that one. We're not proud of any of them.
If you're new here,
proud.
Yeah. If you're new here, we're sorry. And also, just to specify, low income meal.
And I'm a fantastic chef.
Meat Academy.
Anything with an air fryer, I'm your man.
Meat Academy is coming soon.
Good night, everyone. Take care. Stay
everyone.
Safe. And remember, when it comes to football, it's only a game.
It certainly is.
Sports Social Podcast Network.